that, and now they can hear us.
Sweet.
Ooh.
Right on the money there.
Yep.
Welcome to the Midwest Game Nerds podcast. I'm your host, John, and here with me today are Brian
Hey.
and Alex.
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about Fire Emblem Heroes and a bunch of other games alongside a handful of
we
game
are?
news.
Yeah, I'm going to.
He is. Alex
okay.
is. I've got a bunch
Cool.
of other little games I've been playing. But before we get to all of that, if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch the show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. As always, we would appreciate your feedback at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher. We've been anytime I'm playing now on PlayStation, I've been trying to stream a little bit. So if you add us on Twitch, you can definitely check us out.
We've got a few Destiny raids up there. John played some Skyrim and a few other things recently, and so we're trying to do that more.
Didn't last very long.
Yeah. I saw you played Skyrim for a little bit, and then you hopped over to
On what platform?
something
On
else.
PC.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because
so-
I need to start playing on my PC. I upgraded the damn thing, and I just want to use it. I want to use it for anything at all.
That's fair. That's a valid point.
But yeah. Anyways, before we do anything else, what else have you been playing, Brian?
Decent amount of Overwatch. A little bit of Forza 7. And very little bit of Stardew Valley. And I can't not talk today.
Dude, I was having trouble just talking to Brian at the house before we came over.
Is there any is there a Halloween thingy going on for Overwatch?
Yes, that's why I've been playing.
Is it just loot boxes, or do they have a mode or anything?
It's loot boxes, but you can buy the stuff, you know.
Oh, cool.
You don't have to rely on the loot boxes.
Sweet.
If you have enough gold, which you get from loot boxes.
Oh, really?
You
Really?
can buy one or two
Interesting.
of the skins that you want. At least I can.
You get the gold when you get doubles, right? Or do you get it in addition to I thought that was how it went.
I don't know.
I thought you get doubles of emotes or costumes or whatever, so they give you a little bit of gold instead of giving it to you again, because what are you going to do with it?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you don't really get doubles, so I guess maybe it just fills the spot with
you
gold
you
instead.
don't get doubles. Other people who play a lot more of Overwatch might.
I haven't really noticed, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, the Halloween skins are great,
That's cool.
and I definitely want some of them. I also went back to playing Zelda. Played quite a bit of it, actually.
Is there a
Nice.
particular reason you went back to playing Zelda, or just felt like doing it?
I've been wanting to go back to it anyways.
Did you pick
know,
up
I
the
was
season pass or
talking
no?
about it one day and was like, okay.
Did you get the season pass?
No.
Okay, so you're just playing OG.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never finished it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Oh,
playing.
really?
Really?
I thought you finished it.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
okay.
decided I wanted to try to finish it before Mario comes out, but that's probably not going to
I knew as soon as I finished it, I wouldn't touch it again, and that's
Yeah.
why I tried to put off finishing the game, and then I finally was just like, I just want to know what happens, and then I did,
Yeah.
and now I haven't touched it since.
Well, I
Yeah.
was playing Horizon Zero Dawn at the same time, and I had started that game first, so I decided to finish Horizon instead of finishing Zelda.
And then you got burned out on
and
Open
then-
World.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't really feel like playing Zelda. I moved on to playing other stuff.
Yeah.
And I upgraded my PC, so I didn't really touch my consoles for months.
Yeah, I bought the season pass for Zelda, but I haven't finished any of it. They still haven't put the second part out yet.
It comes out holiday season, right? Or
Yeah,
no?
it's supposed to be out at some point in the next couple months.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have a hard release date out there yet.
Cool.
Um,
Alex, what have you played?
I don't know.
Before we get into Fire Emblem Warriors, because I feel like you're going to talk about Fire Emblem Warriors for a while.
No, I mean, it won't be
You
that
played
long. I've
some
only
Destiny
played a little bit.
too.
I played some Destiny 2, which is a surprise.
Not really. I mean, you've been kind of on it every night, I feel like.
I guess since last time we recorded, I played Destiny 2 as well. I played the week of Iron Banner, and then I stopped. I haven't played
See, I didn't play
since.
any Iron Banner. I just gave up on it.
It was really irritating. We can talk more about that after.
I played a little bit Iron Banner. We can talk about it now. I think the PvP in that game is messed up.
It's very messed up.
Even as somebody who doesn't play much PvP, I think it's really stupid that they've removed the incentive of doing the different events. There's literally no distinction between Trials, Crucible, and Iron Banner, except for the loot you get, and that's dumb.
Yeah, they literally balanced every element of Crucible into being the same Crucible no matter what, and
Well,
it's kind of like, what
and
the hell's the point?
I was thinking about it earlier. I was like, okay, so this just means that power level is meaningless to PvP. Completely.
It's pretty
It's
much
pretty meaningless all around.
All around.
It's not meaningless all around because it does gate you out of activities.
It gates you out of activities, but that's stupid.
That's-
Because
But
it doesn't
only-
actually. The power level doesn't actually mean anything other than it's a gate. It's a key to open different.
Well, that's how I felt about light level in the first
Yeah.
game. But except for the fact that in Iron Banner it meant something like that, and Trials, I guess,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I don't know. That's dumb. Destiny 2 sucks. Don't play it.
Not
I wouldn't
true,
say
I'm
it
just
but
kidding.
sucks.
I'm just
it
kidding.
has issues, and I'm very much looking forward to them rebalancing Crucible activities and
Yeah,
loot and
we
all that.
can
We'll get
talk
into
about
that
that
in our
the
news, yeah.
So
Yes.
I think that's enough said for now. We'll
But
revisit
Iron
it
Banner
more.
was disappointing.
Yeah.
The loot kind of sucked,
Yeah.
and it was hard to get. Very hard to get.
Yeah.
It was a
And then they're
huge
like,
grind.
hey, redeem 10 Iron Banner packages in order to get your Season 1 Iron Banner.
Yeah, that took
Reward.
forever. And
Takes
the
forever.
emblem's stupid
You get
looking.
an emblem
It's
and
like
a
a
shader.
wolf with. It's like a ginger wolf or something. It looks like it has red hair on top.
It's really
Are
stupid.
you flush
but,
with
no.
shaders from Iron Banner?
I have a bunch of shaders that I haven't. I have not applied a single shader to anything because they're meaningless to me.
I did. I applied some new Monarchy shaders to
So-
my guns so that
Well,
I have like
John and I really care about looking cool.
That's fine. That's
It's a big
totally.
aspect.
If that's what you want out of this game, good for you.
Yeah, my Titan looks dope.
I could not care any less. And it's really stupid that they're like, here's one of your milestones where you typically get something good out of it, unless it's like a package of rep tokens, which is fine. That's cool. I'll get some loot out of that at least. But then they're like, hey, get 10 of these Iron Banner things, and then we're going to give you something. It's going to be sweet. And then it's a shader and an emblem.
It's like when's the last time you bought Cracker Jacks?
I don't know.
So-
1942.
Cracker Jacks still exists.
before you were born.
For those of you who don't know what Cracker Jacks are, it's caramel corn that comes
With
in
almonds.
a goofy ass box, and there's a prize in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the prize is really shitty.
It's a
Back-
paper doll.
No, back in the day, you used to get like actual physical objects that were like, it would be like a decoder ring kind of crap, or like
Just
a little car, like
stuff they found around the factory.
yeah, mouse
Some rusty
testicles,
nails.
anything like a beetle like
A
carcass.
syringe.
You would get like legit little toys and things in the packaging nowadays.
You guys want to talk about loot boxes?
Yeah,
Cracker
Jack
Jacks,
is
the
well,
original loot box.
so. So now, like
I did not expect the subject.
I
to
bought-
be Cracker
I bought some Cracker Jacks, like it was a while ago still, but I bought some Cracker Jacks, and the prize is now it's like a sticker.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, it was like a sticker, and it said like play baseball, and it had like some like cartoon
Maybe it
baseball
was
player
drugs.
like throwing a pitch. Like
Yeah, it's actually LSD.
I should have just
Yeah.
eaten it, and then
Can you buy like a pallet of Cracker Jacks
I
or something
assume
at
probably,
Costco?
man.
Yeah,
yeah,
That
you-
would. I mean, it's like a loot box. you know,
totally.
like,
Yeah.
it would be it would be a
you
legit.
spend less
if you-
money for a larger bulk of them.
Yeah.
Like
If you buy 1,000 of them,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
really only have to pay for like 900 of
right,
them.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's totally how it
you
goes.
should try that if you're really looking for a good.
Or like
toy.
just in general, like cereal boxes nowadays, like no cereal boxes have prizes like in the cereal. There's no reason for you to dig your grimy little
Some of them
5-year-old
do,
hands.
though.
No, they
I mean,
don't. It's,
I've gotten when
it's like they're codes.
when-
You have to log in
No.
online on like Nabisco's website
No.
and type in a code, and then
It's-
you may or may not.
you're just
get,
buying crappy cereal. I got a Star Wars lightsaber spoon when The Force Awakens came out 2 years
That's
ago.
pretty cool.
In my Captain
Does it make
Crunch.
noises?
I no, it just lit up, but it was like it had a
When they're-
lightsaber handle, and
when
you
they're
you put-
spending billions of dollars on marketing for a movie like that, you better actually have
You-
physical toys in the cereal box.
the spoon had a lightsaber handle, and you put a clear spoon in it, so that when you you hit a button, and the spoon would like grow red or
Where are
glow
you
red
gonna
or
find a
green or
clear
blue.
spoon?
No, it came with
Oh,
this
okay.
the clear part of the spoon. Those
It's
were
like they
the-
don't even give you the spoon.
Oh, they did.
So
They
cheap.
did. Anyway,
This lightsaber spoon, like it really cuts through the cereal.
now that we're off the
Yeah, I keep
the
breaking all my
Destiny
bowls.
2, I've continued to play some Picross S on the Switch. It continues to be delightful.
I don't know what the hell that is.
I talked about it last time, so thanks for remembering
I
and
was
being
barely
tuned into
here.
the conversation.
I'll go back and listen to
It's
it.
basically Sudoku, but it's like you're
Oh yeah,
you're
okay.
And
pixel-
you make pictures.
making little pixel puzzles.
I was thinking of that Pikmin game.
yeah, no.
I
it's
thought maybe
not.
Picross was like a rally version of Pikmin or
Nope.
something.
Yeah, no, no.
I don't know.
But that continues to be quite good. I beat another level of Cuphead late yesterday.
Ooh.
That was it.
How many levels are there?
There's lots. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to see 10% of that game, but we'll talk about that in a minute as well. But yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I haven't been playing too much. I'm just kind of. I was waiting for Mario Odyssey to come out, but then here's the thing that gets me with Fire Emblem games. One time, for the most recent DS game, they put out a special edition of the game. And this is the game that was kind of Pokemon-y in the way that they were like, here's Fire Emblem,
Sun and Moon.
whatever. Yeah. No, but it was Birthright and Conquest were the two
Right.
versions.
I remember that.
And then they were also going to put out a third campaign, which was DLC that you get for $20 if you pay for the DLC. But if you bought the special edition, then you got all three of those on one cartridge.
Okay.
And I really wanted that, and I didn't get it because it was actually a limited edition. But now that Fire Emblem is actually popular here, they don't do limited editions anymore. So I got kind of conned into Best Buy says that Fire Emblem Warriors Special Edition is in stock. So I was like, I guess that means I need to buy that because that's what I do now. So I bought it, even though I was like, I didn't really like Hyrule Warriors. I don't really care about Dynasty Warriors. I like Fire Emblem, but I'm going to buy this anyway.
Right.
So I did. And it's okay.
Just
Now
okay.
for news. No. It's I don't know. You played Dynasty Warriors games,
Yeah.
right? What was the fun in Dynasty Warriors to you?
Just destroying as many people as possible.
See, and that part's
gets
pretty
old real quick.
satisfying. Yeah. Like it's fun
Like
to be
the
like
problem
I
is
played one
I didn't
and
understand.
I never needed to play another one.
I never understood the story element of it, like why I was doing these
Yeah.
things, and like why, like you could choose
to
from like 20
defend
different
your
characters.
dynasty or spread your dynasty.
Yeah, I mean,
Destroy other dynasties.
that was not blatantly obvious in the Dynasty Warriors I played at all. I just it was PlayStation 2. It was new. It had a lot of characters on screen. It was
Yeah.
just fascinating to see that many
That's
moving
true.
objects happening at once in the game at the time.
it felt like one of those franchises that never quite made it out of that generation. Like,
Right.
But they kept making the games.
They
But
didn't
nobody
even look that much
I
better.
feel like
later
there's-
Yeah,
on.
no.
There's got to be something lost in translation there that like we as Americans just don't quite understand about that series of games that like
I think there's just like a certain type of person that likes that game, and
Right, I just don't understand
Well,
what is the point of the game other than to just destroy hundreds of thousands of troops.
I
or
think they learned
enemies.
that. Like, I think they got that. And they were like, all right, how are we going to make these Warriors games more appealing to outside people? And that's when they're like, let's make a Zelda one. Let's make a One Piece one. Let's make a Dragon Quest one. Let's make a Fire Emblem one. Which, good on them. They figured it out. That was the right way to do it. But, I mean, that's the thing is that it seems like most of this game, and granted, I'm early on. I'm only like 5 chapters in, I think. I don't know how many there are in the game as of yet. But it seems like it's just a lot of, all right, here's this character. This character has different moves, kind of, but it's all just pressing Y or X a bunch. And then you do a special move when you press A. And that's pretty much it. But there's other systems in it, like you can go and there are skill trees that add to your combo, which means that you can just, instead of it starting the loop over after you hit the button 5 times, it starts the loop over after you hit the button 6 times, which that's cool, I guess, but I don't quite get it. But it also, they bring, not only is that skill tree in there, but they bring in the Fire Emblem weapon triangle. So swords are weak to lances, which are weak to axes, which are weak to swords. So if you notice your enemies are carrying a bunch of swords and you've got an axe, then you're like, okay, I need to go instantly switch to one of the other Fire Emblem characters. So
You need to pull out your scissors.
yeah, to take out all the papers.
Yes.
All the people running around with paper. But
Watch out for those rocks,
it's
though.
it's cool, I guess. Like, it's fun to run around. Like, they have cinematics, which are really well done. It's fully voiced, even if there's not always like a cinematic to it. Like, they do the Fire Emblem cinematic thing of like, we're going to bring up the person's portrait with some text and they'll have conversations back and forth. And it's fully voiced, but they don't have like a cinematic for every scene like that, which is, it's okay. Like, it's cool. And the story, like most Fire Emblem stories, is like, hey, guess what? Your castle is being overrun. Oh, we need to escape. Oh my God, my mother or father died in this siege. We need to carry on their legacy, essentially.
Oh, shit.
But then it also does the Fire Emblem Heroes kind of thing where there are, because they're kind of cross-pollinating from a bunch of different Fire Emblem games, they like open up a thing in the sky that's bringing characters from other games.
Kind of like the mobile game.
Yeah, the Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yeah.
But so that's cool, but it seems almost like a copy of Fire Emblem Heroes, which I guess that's the
Be
conceit.
interesting if there was some kind of tie-in between the two somehow.
Yeah, I don't think there is, unless like they will obviously they will do a thing where they bring the kit, because there are a few new characters in this game.
Right.
They will bring those into that Heroes game, I'm sure. But what were you pointing at?
I was gonna just shout out to Ruru2M here in the chat, who said that the point was just to kill hordes of shit.
Yeah, and you know what? If that's what you want to do, this game is great, especially if you want to be Fire Emblem characters as you do that, because it's fun. Like, they've got a lot of the big name Fire Emblem characters.
I always just like the art style. I mean, again, I was into that anime stuff all the time, like growing up. I'm not so much into it anymore, which is kind of sad. But I did like the Castlevania anime. That was dope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always like the art style of those games. And I mean, same thing with Dynasty Warriors. Had really cool artwork.
Yeah.
Always. And
well, there's good memes out there for Dynasty Warriors. I know people like really love Lu Bu for some reason. Maybe just because his name is Lu Bu.
It's a pretty cool name.
Yeah, but
my firstborn child will have that name that I'll never have, probably.
Lubu de Laterante.
You always you give birth to one of those every morning after your coffee.
No,
I'm dropping a Lubu.
Lupu.
Oh, poo humor.
Anyway, Fire Emblem Heroes is cool. I'm more excited for Mario, and I'm planning on putting.
It
Fire
sounds like
Emblem
everyone
Heroes
is
down.
like ridiculously excited for Mario.
And that's the thing, is that I saw people. There are people with review copies on Twitter being like, "Hey, I'm playing Super Mario Odyssey," and I'm like, "Oh my God! Like, I would murder somebody to play Super Mario Odyssey right now."
Yeah,
like
you heard it here first.
I am pumped to play some Super Mario Odyssey. So like, as soon as I get home, like Nicole's going to Disney this weekend. So as soon as I get home on Friday, I'm sitting my ass on the couch, and it's not
Disconnecting
moving
the internet.
for 3 days.
it's just straight up pants off, dance off with Super Mario Odyssey. Like,
so I'm very excited for Super Mario, and I know Tim is too. Tim, I don't think Tim bought Puyo Puyo Tetris, and he's been playing Mario Kart and stuff like that on his Switch, but he's very excited for Super Mario.
I want to get Odyssey, but for the sake of having other things to talk about on the podcast, I'm going to pick up Assassin's Creed.
That's fair.
So.
Are you not going to get Odyssey then?
I will eventually, but I want for the next episode I'm going to have Assassin's
Cool.
Creed. So
You're just going to be jealous.
that's fine. I'll deal with it.
Well, what's the third one that we're missing? Because there's another one coming out on Friday. It's Assassin's Creed, Super Mario, and third video game.
I don't know.
That is also quite big.
Call of Duty isn't coming out yet.
No,
is
it's not Call of Duty. That's like next
Battlefront 2?
week. Battlefront 2.
Well, it's not until November.
it? Okay.
Anyways, have you
Dynasty Warriors?
Have you played anything else, Alex, or no?
I think that's pretty much it. Like
Destiny 2 comes out on Tuesday. Was the other big one on PC?
Yeah.
but there's a third game coming out on the 27th.
Ruru2M is on top of this stuff.
Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, comes out this Friday as well. And don't forget,
Wolfenstein 2.
Monopoly for Nintendo Switch is coming out on the 31st, along with Bubsy the Woolies Strike Back.
I'm
Windows
really
and PlayStation
pumped
4.
for that Monopoly. I did see that Jackbox Party Pack 4 was released this past week as well.
Yeah, I watched the Giant Bomb guys play a bit of it. I would really like to play some. I just want to play some Jackbox Party Pack. It could be 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
But it sounds like some of the
fun.
games in there, like they're doing Fibbage 3. There's a new mode for it too, where you like fill out answers to questions and people have to guess what your correct answer is. Like you have to correctly.
You make a question.
No, it's like you are answering a question
Based on you as a player.
And then people have to guess. They like know it's you. They have to guess what the true answer is for. So you're
That's
making
cool.
fibbage questions based on yourself.
And if you can fool everyone, you probably get way more points or whatever.
yeah,
That's sweet.
So everybody else gets to make up lies.
Yeah.
For your answer too. So that looks cool. But then all the other games that are in there
Fibbage
as well.
is always fun.
To all the listeners, we are
definitely look
huge
forward.
fans of the Jackbox Party Pack games.
Oh yeah.
Is that going to
huge
be on
fans.
all platforms?
Yeah,
It's already out for Switch.
They played it
Oh,
on
really?
Switch on Giant Bomb, and I'm kind of like, man, that's kind of a great idea if you can like take it places.
It's true.
Like, but I don't know. Then you also need Wi-Fi, which
Tethered
is
to your
in most
phone.
places. Yeah, you can do it that way too.
Yeah.
but-
I mean, it'll be just like the commercial. We'll be
Yeah.
sitting in a circle
Sitting
in
on
a
the
park
rooftop
or on a rooftop.
with a Switch that's too quiet.
Yeah. Can we
But-
talk about Stardew for a minute?
Yeah. So you guys,
Yeah,
you guys have played some Stardew.
Brian and I got to play a little bit of Stardew
Played
Valley.
like an hour today.
You guys
I don't-
both got it on Switch.
Yeah, I don't remember how much I've actually played. I've done a handful of the intro missions and everything, and like learned how to fish and all that crap. I think the fishing is complete bullshit. I just want to throw that out there. It's so much bullshit that I went out and I downloaded that stupid ass fishing game that's on PlayStation 4 instead, Fishing Planet,
Yeah.
which has the most intense trailer I've ever seen in the video game ever.
But it doesn't deliver on the
No,
trailer.
the game blows. But the trailer.
Are you gonna get Final Fantasy fishing?
No, I'm gonna get the Rapala fishing game that's coming out on Xbox One instead.
Did you you weren't talking about that when we were raiding, right?
Oh yeah, I was talking about the fishing game the entire time we were raiding. It was
'cause-
like post raid, like or maybe not. No, it was
No,
before.
I don't think so. I think it was another night. We were all in a party, just kind of hanging out, talking with
Yeah.
everybody, not necessarily all playing Destiny. And John got like at least 3 or 4 of us to download this fishing game, and then it finally finished for him, and we were all still playing whatever we wanted to play, and he started playing it. And we could just hear the disappointment in his voice every time he talked after
Was
he
it
started
free?
playing it.
It's free,
It's
yeah.
free.
Yeah.
And it's full of microtransactions.
I
The
hate-
whole game is microtransactions.
The idea of a fishing game is
You have
not
to-
appealing to me
you
whatsoever.
have to make your
even
own,
if it
like,
is free.
You have to make an
curious.
account and stuff and sign up with a whole different like account, and then there's like all this crap like you have to buy bait, like you have to buy bait to fucking fish in this
Gotta
stupid
be
ass
kidding
game.
me.
And it's like it's first person, and you
Oh
have to
my
like
God.
it's called Fishing Planet. Nobody
I would
download this
probably
game.
try a fishing
You can-
VR experience.
You can play with 64 people though in the same instance, and like you can there's
Have
fishing,
a fishing
tournaments
tournament?
and shit. Yeah,
That's
like
really good.
but
Can I buy beer and just get drunk?
no, but
virtually?
just nobody download this game because it's stupid. Just watch the trailer and understand how awesome the trailer is, because it makes the dude, the model at the end of it, who's holding up his fish with his dead eyes, the dead look on his face, and it's like playing this like shit rock
The
fucking
fish's
puddle
dead
of mud
eyes,
garbage.
or the guy
Like
has dead eyes.
the guy does.
Oh.
It's just like it's so intense, and I was like, oh man, like this is a fishing game, and I'm hyped. Like I was like pumped to get it, and then I finally I get downloaded, and I was like, this is the worst game I've ever played. But anyways, back to Stardew Valley. I digress. Stardew Valley's fishing is bullshit. I don't understand how to catch fish. Like I know you have to like hit the button like and keep the one slider like lined up with the bobber like in the thing or whatever, but
Yeah.
I can never get it to work properly, so therefore I can never catch
Hmm.
fish.
I haven't fished yet.
Sounds
It's
like
ridiculous.
you need to.
I've done basically
I've
nothing.
also determined as much as I wanted to play this game, and I waited, but I didn't buy it on PC, I didn't buy it on PlayStation, I didn't buy it on Xbox because they announced it for Switch, and I was like, I want to play that now, like, and I want it on Switch so I can play it portably, blah blah blah. I'm never gonna play it because I cannot play these retro style games anymore. I just can't do it. And
That's
it
a
sucks.
bummer.
It sucks because I know a lot of these games are really good, but I can't count how many times I've tried to go back and like play the different Final Fantasies or like, you know, Star Ocean or what was the Phantasy Star, like all the old RPGs and things that I was really into as a kid. Like I can't do it anymore, man. They're
That's strange.
so
Like
bad.
I have a hard time going back to games unless it's Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, of course.
Of course.
I can't. It's hard for me to do it because I feel like it's the same reason I can't reread a book, and in a lot of cases I can't even rewatch movies sometimes because I already know what's going to happen, and so that just kind of it allows my ADD to take over, and I no longer pay attention to it. So, but for some reason, with games like Fez or Stardew Valley or Golf Story, all of those kinds of things, I can buy into it because I haven't seen it before, and therefore it's not a problem to me. Like I don't have that. It doesn't feel dated to me because of the graphical fidelity.
Yeah, well, and part of it too is like the control scheme for it is like a little bit weird because it runs off of the standard like 8 directional, like up, down, left, right, and then all the diagonals.
Mm-hmm.
And you're using an analog stick to move, and I want to
Yeah.
be able to move analog like in that manner, and you can't. And the animation for the character doesn't move like that. And then on top of it, like when I'm trying to plant things in a straight line, if I'm not like set up properly to plant if I'm planting in a straight line,
Prancing?
if I'm not actually set in the right position, I end up planting stuff in the wrong manner, and this is the kind of game where I want to be super organized.
I was
and
irritated
I can't
with
be.
the planting because
Yeah.
I swear I was like in a spot trying to put seeds down. They ended up like halfway across my fucking field.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't
Like-
understand. Like, how are you supposed to do that?
I see. That's the thing is that with those games, this is something that will break those games for me. If you cannot use the D-pad instead of the directional stick, then I typically don't like.
You can use the D-pad and move at like quarter speed. I noticed.
That's the thing is that I've been playing Golf Story with the D-pad. I played Cuphead with the D-pad. Like usually those types of games, I have to play with the D-pad because that feels the most natural to me.
You know, that kind of like falls into the same because I downloaded Final Fantasy 1 on my mobile phone.
Yeah.
And I paid a stupid amount of money for that because I'm an idiot. But I couldn't play it because I had to use the stupid fucking touch screen.
That's even another different case. Like touch screen controls are terrible.
You cannot use a D-pad on a touch screen.
Yeah.
No. It's terrible.
I probably need to get a loot box to unlock the analog directional control in Stardew Valley.
Bluetooth controller.
No, I know. Well, it's
Stardew Valley.
Yeah, or any game for that matter. I can just use
phone.
I can use the switches
controller.
the switches
True.
controllers with it. But yeah, anyways, I'm really happy that it's having so much success on the Switch because again, like we've talked about this privately, that the Switch is becoming this like indie gem.
Yeah.
And that's awesome for indie developers, and it makes me want to actually start looking into developing our own games. Even we've talked about it.
Yeah,
we have a treatment for a really awesome Midwest Game Nerds game, guys, that will hopefully maybe one day bring to fruition. I'll hire some Indian dudes on Fiverr to do it or something. But yeah, it's I'm really happy that it has the success that it has, but at the same time, I'm like, I really just don't want to play these games anymore, and it sucks because I know there are lots of really good quality games that people love that are this style, and I just can't get into it, and I feel like just a total pretentious asshole about it.
See, but that's the thing. Like, I don't know. I think you're just not finding the right thing. If you're like me at all, like did you ever play the Harvest Moon games?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I played them on Game Boy emulators on all of my smartphones.
Oh,
as soon as I had an Android phone, I was like, how can I put a Game Boy on this? And then I did that, and I had every single Pokemon game on there and Harvest Moon, and it was great because I used to use it to kill time while I was waiting for class to start at school, but. It was.
You mean you used to use it to kill time until your class is over at school?
That was when I first started college in 2003, and the Game Boy Advance SP was like
true.
the go-to.
Right.
I spent over 400 hours playing
And
Final
then you
Fantasy
graduated
Tactics
like
Advance.
12 years later.
And yes, it took me 14 years to graduate from college.
When you actually cared about your classes,
Yeah, exactly.
You had to wait for them to start.
Yeah,
and stuff.
but.
But the emulator technology is so much better now.
I did play those games, and I liked them. Again, it was like because I was playing it on like a Game Boy emulator or something. Like even then, like using the touch screen sucked, but like because I was using like an emulator, and it wasn't like I didn't have this level of expectation of like a next gen system or anything like that. Like I just kind of sucked it up and did it. And again, it was a way for me to kill time. I'm not in school anymore, so for me, killing time doesn't exist. Like I have no time to kill now. So I don't like. I want to play things that I really enjoy, and I'm not enjoying.
I've had a key for Stardew Valley for probably close to like a year now, I would think, on Humble Bundle or something like that. And I redeemed it this week because my best laid plans, I was like, oh, all three of us are going to play a ton of Stardew Valley, and that can be our like main review since it just came out on Switch. And then, Brian played like an hour, and John played like 4, and I played 0, of course.
Well, who
We're
dropped the ball
such
here?
we're such good hosts.
I can't bring myself to play that game because it just seems like such a it's kind of
it's also been out for like 4 years now.
well, I don't care about that.
Not that
That's fine.
long.
But
It's been a while.
the,
Like a year.
the gameplay loop, I don't see it working for me. I don't see the idea of oh, you know what? I'm going to be a farmer and I'm going to do that. For some reason, those types of game, it's not very story driven. It's not a story driven game.
It's driven by you and your ambitions as a character.
What you want to do in that.
to-
This is for the guy in
farming
Skyrim
RPG.
who wishes he could play the game and become successful by selling things that he
and
grows.
then date
And,
all the women in town.
it's dating
all
like it's
4 of them.
It's a 16-bit life simulator is what it is.
Which is cool, and I played some of the Sims, and that was fine. Although that was a totally different thing.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
that is way different.
I was genetically engineering my people to be the best possible thing they could be. But anyway,
I was locking people
I think-
in a 2-square room with an espresso machine.
That
so they
sounds
couldn't
about right.
Sleep.
so they could feel your life. But that's the thing, John, is I think you need to find indie games that you can really care about.
right.
Fez and Hyper Light Drifter for me are the indie games where I'm like, this is my shit. These are made for me.
Yeah.
And just to briefly step through, the idea of indie games coming up on the Xbox, and people are like, well, these are great. They're cheap. It's kind of keeping me playing my Xbox. But then good AAA games started coming out, and it was these are great, but they all look kind of crappy. They don't look as good. I don't really care about them. And it was okay, well, fine. But then getting to the PlayStation, and they had the Vita out, you could do cross-buy and play indies that way, which was cool. You could play them on the go. But the problem was that you needed to use cross-save in most cases where you could, which is okay, then I need to remember to download my save to my Vita,
Right.
which sucks. But now with the Switch, it is literally I can play this on my TV or I can play it on the go, and it's all there in that one system. This is the realization of what indie gaming should be.
Right. Right.
I will say, Stardew Valley for me is the perfect game to actually play in handheld because I have issues with almost every other game I try to play that way with the right side. I can't move that analog stick the way I need to.
Yeah, and you don't
In the
need it
weird-
at all for
Yeah.
Stardew, right?
Not really.
Right. It's just you can use a cursor. It uses the cursor. Or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, well,
Yeah, all I did in the game was clear out a field to plant my seeds in what I thought would be a very neat row.
orderly fashion.
But instead, my field looks like a fucking Jackson Pollock. And I was kind of mad about it. So I just left, and I decided I'm going to go explore.
Right.
Well-
And I found some stuff. I stole some flowers out of various spots in the ground, talked to some people. Some bitch told me I wasn't dressed well enough for her. Typical day. It's just like real life.
I was gonna say this. This is hitting really close to home for you, isn't it?
Oh boy.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was good times.
Enough about Stardew Valley.
That was about it.
All right.
I have other games I played.
Oh, okay.
I played Darkwood.
Oh yeah.
For
We
those who-
talked about
we
that
did
briefly.
This was a game that we talked about a little while ago, where the developer got really sick and tired of people asking him for review copies of the game and then selling them on the marketplaces. So he just put it up on the Pirate Bay for free. Now, despite him doing that, I'm not a piece of shit, so I actually bought it.
Well, that's
because-
debatable, but
Yeah.
it's for
But
a
I
different
bought the game.
podcast.
Darkwood is a post-apocalyptic zombie survival sort of game where, similar to Stardew Valley in the way that you go out and you gather resources and things like that, and you bring them back to your little home base and build up fortifications to keep out the dark creatures from invading your space at night. It's a top-down game.
Sounds more like Don't Starve to me.
Sure, it's like Don't Starve, and What else would you like? Don't Starve meets like Call of Duty Zombies, but top down, not first person, and you don't have any weapons starting out.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so it has a storyline to it. You're trying to get out of this like dark forest area.
The Dark Wood.
Yeah,
perhaps?
the dark wood. It is. How do I want to? It's interesting. It's fun. It's kind of creepy, but it's not like super engrossing. Like I'm having trouble dealing with the controls because you are moving with WASD on the keyboard to like move forward, backward, and
Does it have controller support?
I don't know. It might. I didn't really look. I should have done more investigating into those sorts of things. But the to turn, you're using A and D to like turn the character, and then W and S to like move forward and backwards.
Oh, I don't like that.
But
too
you have
much.
to use the mouse to like click things on the screen and select
Yeah.
things that you want to do.
So it has like FPS controls, but it's top down.
yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
So what I would rather it be is I would rather control the left and right movement with the mouse cursor. Like I'd rather the character just follow my mouse cursor around, and then I can move backwards
like
and
Diablo
forward.
style.
Yeah, like I think that just would make, without me having to click though, like just me moving the mouse and he would follow it no matter
Well, yeah,
what.
I mean
like,
Diablo, you can just hold it down.
yeah. But that I think would make more sense for the game. I didn't look and see if I can actually do that yet, but I played it for like a couple hours just to kind of give it a go because I needed something new. I was going through some serious game ADD, and it's cool. It has an inventory system that's very limited. I'm assuming you can find other backpacks and things to like expand the inventory so you can collect more resources and stuff. But you have to like go out and like chop, find wood and chop down trees and things like you would in Stardew Valley, and then like saw them into planks in order to like fortify your base and close off the windows and things like that. It's interesting. It's for $15. I can see myself playing it a bit more so than Stardew Valley. But yeah. What is Alex saying here? He typed in from the bathroom. This is Alex from the bathroom. It sounds like Darkwood is a twin stick game. You need to try it out with a controller. Yeah, I don't know if it actually is twin stick.
We should do all our podcasts like this.
Yeah, right. Where Alex just sits in the bathroom. But yeah, it's a very interesting game. I would like to play it more and see, because it was interesting enough that I wanted to keep playing it. It was one of the big things. Like I wanted to figure out why am I in the forest?
Why is the wood so dark?
Why is the wood dark? Why am I in the dark wood? How dark is the wood? And
how far away is Stardew Valley?
Yeah, how far away is Stardew Valley from the dark wood?
Can I take a train or?
Right. Yeah. No. Anyways, it's a very cool game, especially considering it's so cheap. And again, I wanted to support a developer that was being screwed by the system somehow, and it was on my list of games to get. And I figured, like, what the hell? What's $15? The fact that people were like scamming a $15 game to like profit for themselves is
to
like,
go through the trouble of saying they want to review
total
it just
bullshit.
to sell it is
yeah,
ridiculous.
but it's definitely a cool game. Check it out if you have a spare $15 and you're on Steam and you need something to play. Other than that, I did download. It's called Ghost of a Tale. This was a game that was shown off at E3 as one of Microsoft's indies for the Microsoft Xbox X announcements, where they went through all the games that are coming out. Ghost of a Tale is a game where you're playing as a mouse in a world that is run over by rats, and it's essentially, what's that game that's
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about now.
I can't think of the name of the
Finally.
other game that I'm trying to compare it to.
I like how John brought this up in the Discord like 4 days ago, and neither of us bothered to look it up.
No,
and like
it just
understand.
occurred to me which game it was.
To me, it's like it's as if somebody took Watership Down and like Martin the Warrior and like all these like
The
old
Redwall.
Redwall series of books and like made a game out of it is what it looks like, and it's clearly inspired by that in my opinion, but
what
I don't
kind
know
of
for
game
sure.
is it?
So yeah, I was getting into that,
gameplay-wise?
and then you started cracking stupid jokes. But it's a 3D.
I'm sure
That's
I have
another title
more.
for our podcast.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I have more.
It's what I would consider, it's an RPG.
Okay.
Okay, there are RPG elements of like, inventory, collecting costumes. I haven't seen anything about earning experience because I actually
Costumes for
I
a
haven't
mouse.
killed anything yet. There's like no killing yet. I don't know if there is killing where you actually have to fight stuff. I haven't gotten that far. But there's a lot of sneaking around. So it's like stealth based. You're a mouse. You're sneaking around these rats that are like guarding the jail cell that you're in. And there's quest lines of like, okay, one of the quest lines I had to do is I had to find a pirate outfit. And when you find a pirate outfit, like you have to collect all the items to it. After I found the pirate outfit, I was able to impersonate a pirate character to another character in the game who had interacted with that pirate character at some point in their timeline. And I was able to like coerce information out of them to like get extra shit. And I'm assuming that's what happens with. There's a couple of different costume timeline, like quest lines that I saw. Like one of them is to get like a whole thieves outfit and things like that. And if you're dressed up in a certain outfit, some characters won't even talk to you. Like there was the blacksmith would not talk to me if I was wearing the pirate hat. He's like, I don't talk to pirates, and so like he wouldn't talk to me at all.
It's
So
kind of
then
like Hitman.
sure, yeah, whatever.
Costume Quest. Did you?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys play that?
But it is an early access game. It's currently only $20. You can, if you're on Xbox right now, you can try it out with a trial. You get an hour, and that's enough to get you out of the initial dungeon that you're in. It'll take you about an hour, maybe a little bit less than that, and you can kind of explore the courtyard of the building you're in.
So by dungeon, you mean monsters? Like, are there monsters in it?
No.
Okay.
It's,
So
you're in a jail. Like
are you expecting in this game that you will ever be killing anything or not?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't like that's I would like to like I feel like okay, it's only being developed by one person with a little bit of help from his friends. Like they're like he's doing the majority of the work. It's about 45% completed based off of what little research I did on the blog and everything. But it feels really polished in my opinion. For a game where only one person's doing the majority of the work, like this guy put in a shitload of work and it shows. The game is really gorgeous. The only issue I had graphically was when I put on the depth of field effect on my Xbox, there was a severe cut in frame rate. You can get it on PC. You can buy it on Steam or whatever.
I think
early
they
access.
only expect you to use depth of field if you have the Exponix.
It's possible, but I'm assuming that if you were
4K,
if you're using it on
field.
the Xbox X or if you're using it on PC, the depth of field isn't affecting your frame rates because you have more processing power. I don't really know. But the game
might just not be optimized yet.
Yeah, it might not be. It looks great though. Like graphically, very cool. Very pretty. It's definitely a little simplified, so it's not like the greatest graphics in the world, but the fact that one person's doing it and they've created this amazing 3D world that feels really like, I mean, if it has like a good foreboding, like, you know, very heavy feel to it being in this jail cell that you've got to break out of as this little tiny mouse. And it's just cool. There's little puzzles and things that you need to figure out. There's all kinds of written clues and things on the walls that you need to like grab and read, and it's a basic like quest-driven RPG game where, like I said, I haven't fought anything, so there's no leveling progression yet or skill tree or anything like that. I don't know if that's something he's going to incorporate, but it's for $20 for early access. This will be a $60 game when he finishes it, I would assume. And I mean, props to this dude for doing it because I think it's awesome.
That's cool. For some reason, when you said mount, like it reminded you of Redwall's stuff.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that game Moss, the PSVR game.
Yeah.
For some reason from E3. So I'll have to.
Oh,
I don't know
maybe
that
me too.
You know, maybe that's the one I'm confusing it with. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing this one anywhere, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't out there. So I'll have to check it out and see what's out there.
Yeah, it was released into early access in June, so
Okay.
it's fairly recent. But yeah, it's again Ghost of a Tale on Xbox, on PC. Very cool game. Highly recommend checking out if you have a spare $20. I think it's totally worth it because if he's 45% done with it at this point, like I don't even know how much content that actually is. I don't know how long the game is or anything, but I've spent a few hours playing it easily, like probably 5 to 6 hours playing through just the intro part, figuring that out and like working my way around, and like it's stealthy. So like there's a little indicator that shows when like you're becoming in sight of the enemies. So you can like dip away or you can hide in like barrels or in like chests and things to like get away from them. Like it's very well done and well thought out. So I like just props to the team of one man who's doing the majority of the work on this game. I can't remember his name right now and I feel really bad about it. But
very cool.
Yeah. I think that's all I've played.
I remembered a game real quick when you were talking about Stardew.
Okay.
I've still been playing a bunch of Golf Story and it's quite good. Lionel Gallet is the man who is designing Ghost of a Tale.
Okay.
He used to be a part of DreamWorks and Universal Studios apparently.
Oh, nice.
So that's cool.
The modeling is tight. Like
yeah, I'm sure.
it's
with that
really
pedigree.
I mean, holy shit. Like I was just like again, I watched the trailer for it and I was like, I think this is that game from E3
Yeah.
and I was like, I wanted this. I didn't realize it was early access and I played the trial and it was just like an hour of this game like hooked me.
Yeah.
And I've been going through this game ADD thing where I don't know what the hell I want to play and all I can think about is that playing this game now.
Yeah.
So
But I've been enjoying so much Golf Story, and I remembered Nicole telling me that she used to play Mario Golf on the N64. So I did finally pick up Everybody's Golf,
hell yeah.
the latest in the
Sweet.
Hot Shots Golf series. It's one of those games. It's
That's
a
the
golf
one.
game.
That's the one Webby's been obsessed with,
Yeah.
right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I haven't
That's
seen.
why
haven't
he
seen
wasn't
him.
playing Destiny.
Yeah, 'cause he was too busy playing Everybody's Golf.
It's a pretty like I've really only played the 2-player mode, which you can just kind of do a match, pick a course.
He would jump in the party, be like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And we're all like playing Destiny, and we're like playing Destiny, dude. He's like, "Yeah, I'm stuck playing Everybody's Golf," and like,
We got to get Webby back on.
I
soon.
know.
But
He'll just talk about Everybody's Golf for an hour
that's
and a
fine.
half.
Hey,
Maybe we can
you
bring
know
him
what?
on to talk about season 2 of Destiny
There you go.
and what his creative vision for that is. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm getting him confused with someone else.
Yeah, we can have him on a special Halloween episode where he
Right.
plays Luke Smith from But yeah,
I hope he dresses up like Luke Smith for Halloween. Oh my god!
all
that
he's
would be
gonna do is
amazing.
put on a shirt and some glasses.
Yeah, he just
and
needs
he's fine.
like some like thick rim glasses because he has his like little normal glasses.
Yep.
But
No, Everybody's Golf is cool. It's a golf game. I haven't gotten through.
Can you-
I haven't played any of the single player stuff
So
yet.
can you play like up to a certain amount of people locally then? Take turns on
we-
the same console?
That's the thing. I'm not sure. I think it might be only up to 2.
okay.
But it is a single controller game. You pass the
You just
controller
back it
back
in.
and forth, which has
That's
been
fine.
kind of nice. Like that, it's just the one controller that
yeah,
Yeah.
you play with. But
because then you can always have your backup.
Yeah.
When
for
your
when
battery
the
dies.
battery dies. In
well, it's
2
okay
hours.
because now I own 5 PS4 controllers
Jesus.
because I'm a sucker. But
Ugh.
all right, I kind of have. It makes sense because I need 4 for the actual PlayStation. And then I have one that I can use for like remote play on the PC or with
Well,
the
no,
PlayStation
you have
TV.
one like that 5 hours of free gaming time.
I have
you
20 hours
per
of
week.
gaming without,
Oh, I was gonna say you have like 5 hours worth of gaming time between those 5 controllers because the fucking batteries are garbage.
No, they last a couple hours, and I usually get about 5 hours out of them. But I did
Yeah,
buy
like
the crystal.
5 to 6.
I bought the crystal blue one that we talked about
Ooh.
previously. I've seen the crystal red one at Best Buy, but the blue one
Yeah.
lies with my heart. So
Anyways,
yeah, news time.
let's do it. You just brought up a menu on your computer, by the way.
That's fine.
All
We're
right.
in the news.
So-
This is not the story yet. Let's start with Cuphead. When I get over to here, yeah,
You need a mouse pad.
No.
I gotta make you a mouse.
I have a
pad.
mouse. I have one. I
was gonna make you a game nerd.
It's
so-
hard because there's three monitors hooked up, and this one's the left,
Yeah,
and
you
that
gotta-
one's the
you gotta
right, and
scroll
I'm
through all of
faced.
them.
I'm faced the opposite direction, so it doesn't help. So John put this video in the Discord a couple days ago. It's by Mike Mahardy from GameSpot, who's a pretty cool guy. I've seen some of his stuff before, but it's kind of this video essay about. So the title is Cuphead and the problems with difficulty in video games. It says, did game developers understand difficulty? And there's been this kind of backlash because Cuphead is such a difficult game. Some people feel as though it sucks that you cannot experience the full game if you are not good enough at it. Which,
is complete bullshit.
yes and no. Like,
I don't know.
here's
It
let's-
is kind of sad. It's like I'm not gonna buy it because I know it's too difficult.
Yeah.
For me.
But
That's fine. That's just money they're not gonna get.
Well,
Like,
and-
I know I'm not gonna buy it because I'm not gonna be any good at it.
when it's a game that's something like Horizon Zero Dawn, where they have now implemented a mode where you basically don't have to worry about combat at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like,
The
that
combat's-
to me is cool. Like, it's a very story driven game, but Cuphead, to me, the meaning to Cuphead is the mechanics to it. It's learning the cycles of the boss fight, or learning the patterns of the enemies that come out, and getting down to the timing of parrying off of the red objects that are in the game. Like, all of that is what that game is to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So like with something like Horizon, I get it. Like I want to be able to see like Uncharted.
Horizon and Uncharted, as in another example, are two games that have like a very deep and engrossing story that don't necessarily need the vehicle of combat to progress them.
Yeah.
But as
The
a
combat
game, like
is
how
so
fun,
much fun though.
how much? Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is how fun is a game if all you're doing is sitting there watching cutscenes and shit? It's not. That's
Yeah.
we don't
I
want to
mean,
play
the
the
ma-
Order 1886 for a reason. That
The,
game fucking sucked because it was all goddamn
Like
cutscenes.
Mass Effect 3 had a easy mode too that was pretty much just to get you through the
Yeah,
story.
yeah. You could select the like, hey, I care about the story and
Yeah.
I'm not as good at combat.
Yeah,
So make it easier for me. Which I think it's really cool when developers can do that. But Cuphead, I think you get everything you want out of Cuphead if you don't actually want to play it. Like if you don't want to do the mechanics, you can get everything you want out of it by watching a YouTube video.
I mean, that's the joy of,
You know?
games like, and it goes into this in like the video essay, like games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Neo. Like those three games and Cuphead included in this are the type of games where like learning the patterns of the enemies and like rinse and repeat gameplay is part of the experience, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of awesome because for me, I liked playing through Bloodborne and Dark Souls to where I would go through an area really slow the first time and like figure out where
Yep.
everything is and map everything out in my mind, and I would die 1,000 times, but then when I get pushed back to the beginning, I knew where all the shit was and I could zip through it, and it became a challenge in and of itself for me to figure out how quickly I can move from A to B without getting hit or by destroying every enemy in my path on the way there.
There were also like certain paths. If you timed it right, you could always get back to a boss without fighting a single
Yes.
thing.
Yep.
Even if it was really far.
Right.
yeah.
Like I was amazed. Like there's the weird like dark twisted forest. I can't remember the name of. Sorry, something flew in my face.
Nothing flew in your face. You made that up.
And I saw it.
He's on drugs.
But yeah, like I managed to find a path, and I didn't think that they could figure out a way to design that level for that, but it was like
Yeah.
it was totally there,
And
and it's awesome. Like,
part of what I get out of those games is that I feel like it's out of reach to me. And I began to realize that the more I played it and the more I got into the timing and everything like that, I could be successful at this game if I really pushed myself.
Right.
I also have never finished a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne
I have not finished
or
any of them.
Neo. I haven't finished any of these games. I would really love to see the ends of these games. But I also feel like I would be cheating myself out of it if I were just to like, you know, get the, hey, I can press a button and the boss is dead.
Right.
So
Yes,
I get it.
mean,
Like,
like
it would
finishing
be-
bosses in those games is very rewarding.
it would be interesting to see them try to like implement some kind of system that allowed the game to learn your skill and then adjust it over time.
Well,
Like, what if
didn't
what
you
if
talk about that in the video essay that there are games that do that?
yes, Resident Evil 4 did it, which
Right.
which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Like everybody needs to watch this video because I forgot about that fact. Resident Evil 4 actually paid attention to how good you were at the game. And if you were killing a lot of characters, it was going to throw a lot more at you later in the game. So I think that's kind of like, to me, it would be cool if there was a Dark Souls that was like, okay, we are going to
Clearly, this guy's a casual noob, and we just want to like take our time at throwing enemies at him. And then clearly, this guy over here is a salty, sweaty bastard, and we're just gonna assault the shit out
Yeah,
of
we're
him.
gonna
Even
start
if
it
they-
with 1 hit point.
even if they
Yeah.
had like a calibration level or something like that, like the prologue is just learning your skill
Yeah.
in that game, and then from there on out it can kind of ramp it up and down of like, you know,
Well, that's
we're trying to put the carrot closer to you on this stick because we know that you're close enough to get here.
Wasn't there a first-person shooter back in the day that did that, where like you would play through the intro thing, it would show you how to use the controls and everything, and based on how well you learned it, it would be like, hey, we think you should start in like easy mode, or you should start in
Probably.
hardcore.
It
mode.
sounds
can't
like a
think of
System
what-
Shock kind of thing. Or
Yeah.
like some I can't. It sounds familiar, but
I
like
don't know.
the I think that's the thing that's really hard is that now when somebody says a game is Souls like, people are like, oh god, that's not for me. And that game
That's the
being
thing I don't
that
understand.
game being oblique is not like, it's not
I don't think people understand how rewarding it is to play a game that is quote unquote Souls-like.
I gotta say, I think like Neo nailed it better than the Souls games, though, as far as like
accessibility,
understanding
getting good
enemy patterns
Get
and
good.
combat in that game is a little more transparent. And I think that really helps it. Like,
see, I don't necessarily know if it's that or if it's just the fact that like the 3 or 4 of us, that was our 4th Souls-like game that we played.
Well,
so it's like, are we just getting better at
no,
Souls?
because I went back to playing Bloodborne and I was just getting
the thing about
wasted.
Neo is Neo
That's fair.
doesn't have enemies that are hidden from you necessarily. Like Dark Souls, you could run down a path.
Oh
and,
yeah,
like,
there's
out of
total
nowhere,
troll enemies that are just like,
that are there to specifically piss you the
like
fuck
that
off.
stupid. There's like that giant guy that would throw a burlap sack over you, and you
Yeah.
end up in a different
I liked.
zone.
There was a video on the internet. It was a dude. He was fighting an enemy, and I think it was Dark Souls 1, maybe Dark Souls 2. He's fighting an enemy, and it's this big ass boss enemy looking thing, and he finally kills it, and he like goes into like a celebratory like and this other skeleton thing just darts across the screen and clips him off the bridge and he dies. And that's what that's the thing about those games, like that shit. One, it's funny as balls. Two, it's so rewarding to like fight one of these giant, like massive, like just these bosses that you can't even see the whole boss on the screen, and like to kill that, and it's just like it's like successful, or like you have defeated so and so or whatever. Like it makes you feel awesome. Like you feel like you're part of the game, and like no other games do that. Like when you fight a boss in Final Fantasy, you don't feel like that.
See, Nick is gonna listen to this in a few days or like a week, whenever he gets around to it.
Next time he goes on a road trip,
he needs to write in, because it's very much like, we've identified what we call a Rick game, and that's any game where you die a lot, because Rick loved Super Meat Boy. And that's something that the idea of dying a lot in a game is always very frustrating to Nick. Like, it's hard for Nick to continue to play a game and keep dying at it, even if I guess he's getting better at it. It's not having that in the game as like I intend you to die a lot isn't good. Like it doesn't work for him, but it does work a lot for Rick. And I fall somewhere in between that, but I get that like that is where it's like, okay, Dark Souls isn't for me because I don't want to die a lot. Like I don't want to sit here. It pops up and says you died, and like
It
they
makes you feel real bad about it.
Even Super Meat Boy is like probably the best version of that Nick could ever like, because it's so short. It's
Yeah,
like
I know, it's
you
over
hit the
so
blade
quick.
and then you are immediately back to the beginning and you
Yep.
can try it again. That is the right way to get people to be able to do that, because then they don't get frustrated with the fact that they died and then the game is essentially mocking them for it.
well, I mean, it sucked in Bloodborne because the load times were fucking awful. But like
that isn't good either.
I think they intentionally did that to really let it sink in that you fucking
you
blow
suck.
at this game. They're just like, you're so bad at this, and we want you to wallow in your misery for a few minutes before
it
the
gives you a
game
minute
reloads.
to think about shutting it off or
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
Like,
You're
do I
like-
really want this to reload or not?
I've been meaning to, because I got the PlayStation Pro now. I've been meaning to pop Neo in and see how it looks on the Pro, because I kind of
I haven't done
There's
it
different
since I got
modes
my
you
new
can run
TV.
it in.
yeah.
And I think I have it set for like a balance, like where
Yeah.
you get
Yeah.
a really good frame rate.
But ultimately, like with this article, with this video, I do think everybody should watch this and check it out and listen to it, because it was very interesting to like hear. What is it, Mike? Is that his name?
Mike Mahardy. Yeah.
His viewpoint on this particular topic was pretty good, and I think developers, they're making the games they want to make now instead of just like.
And that's what it comes down to.
Again, this was an indie developer too. This isn't EA. This isn't Bungie. This isn't Activision. This isn't any of the big guys, the big guns. This is some dude. A team of small people, not small people, but a team of people, a small team of people.
Team of small people with a big dream.
Yeah, a small team of people making a game that they wanted to make, and like I guarantee every single one of them probably still sucks at playing this game, but they love it because it's their creation and they got to do it, and Microsoft backed them and everything. And like for reviewers to shit on this game for it being too hard, like fuck that. Like
That's the thing is that I don't necessarily think anybody's shitting on it.
There were people shitting on it for being too hard. There was one reviewer, I don't remember what publication he worked for, but people on Reddit and other forums were lighting this guy up because they're just like, dude,
he's probably not even a gamer.
That's the thing is he's said I've been writing about games for years, but I just realized like I'm actually not much of a gamer. And like how can you write about it? Like there's this weird trade-off of like, are you a good writer or are you a good gamer? Where's the happy medium?
Means you need a different beat or something like that.
But like people were shitting, like
games.
These reviewers were shitting on this game for being really hard, and it's like, you know what? Like who cares if it's hard? Like is it fun to play? Like did you keep playing? And I understand like some people get frustrated and quit because things are too hard. Clearly, real life isn't meant for you, so you should probably just kill yourself. I don't actually mean that, but
the views of John Morrell do not reflect views of the Midwest Podcast Network.
No.
Or the
if you're getting
Podcast.
that bent out of shape over a video game, you should probably stop playing video games. Like just stop.
So
find something else.
Here's the thing: is that the I will make 2 points out of this. Number one, the same point John was making is that these guys intend to make this game the way that it is, and the regular difficulty is how they intended it to be played, and I think it's their right to make it how they want to make it. Like somebody who sets out to make a movie that is in a foreign language, it gets to be in that foreign language. And if they want to translate it and bring it over here, they can. But they also don't have to dub it just because you don't want to read subtitles because you're a lazy asshole. Like that.
Right.
Like it doesn't. The artist's vision, if we're going to make video games art, if we're going to argue against Roger Ebert in that regard, these people get to design this experience the way that they wanted it to be played. And I don't think it's fair to say, I wish there was an easy mode to this, because this game is about, Cuphead is about being difficult and recognizing patterns and doing all of those things. Like that's what it is. And I think they should have that. On the flip side, the fact that there are parts of this game that rely on you identifying the color red to be able to parry it, which then gives you super energy back.
Is there a colorblind mode?
I don't know, and that's what it needs. Like if that's what the ableist people care about, I think that's a fair criticism, because I don't think your disability
it's a fair
of being
criticism. It's also an easy fix.
Yes, and being colorblind is one of those things where it's like, I think it's easy enough to accommodate that it needs to be something that they pay attention to, like. Making game mechanics center around colors that some parts of the population cannot differentiate properly.
Percentage of the population.
That sucks. And here's another thing. I don't know if we have any disabled listeners, and I think that's a big, like I think that's an interesting topic that would be good to break into. But the idea that like people who are one-handed wanting to play Cuphead or that kind of thing, like. I get that, and that's what I said about them making the game they want to make. Like, it would be great if it was accessible to everybody, but obviously that's a whole nother story. Like, I don't know how to broach that. Like, there are gamers that are out there. There's a dude who's beaten games with like DDR mats because he can play with his feet and like stuff like that.
That dude who beat Donkey Kong Country using bananas with triggers in them.
Sure.
Did you see that? He used like little electrode transistor things. Like he like jammed them into bananas. So when he would smack a banana, it would like do different moves.
Okay.
Or like he could move. He could hit it. He could go left or right or straight. You know, like he could do. Like he could hit. He like.
Is
not
he disabled?
Joking. No, he just
okay.
This guy he literally finds the most.
He's not anywhere.
He uses the most absurd controllers to beat. This is the guy who beat Dark Souls using the bongos from like that
from
one.
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, like
Donkey
he like
people like that just make me not want to ever play that game again.
what I'm saying is there's another conversation around people who are disabled in that way.
They make a lot of special controllers and such. I'm sure
they do, but they're probably expensive. They're not, because they're probably not mass produced. I think that's another conversation. And I don't necessarily think that people should be excluded from Cuphead because it's too hard from that direction. But here's the thing: is that this game is hard for people that have both appendages, you know?
Yeah.
And so if it takes like making a different controller, or like the controls can be completely remapped as well. So like you can adjust it that way. I think like it's a hard game, and it's meant to be a hard game. And obviously if it's harder for you for things that aren't your fault, or even if they are your fault, like that sucks. And I get it. But I also don't think they said, hey, this is Cuphead. It's super easy. You're going to have a great time with it regardless of your skill level. That was never the message with this game. So I can't fault them for that. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's a great video essay.
Everybody check it out. We'll throw a link up on the website and also in our Facebook when we make this post. So
cool.
Yeah. Next. So Twitch is going to add a clear roadmap to partner status. This is kind of interesting. This is one of my news picks for this week. So basically, Twitch is becoming its own meta game.
Yeah,
they're adding achievements, and the roadmap is essentially like a skill tree of level progression to becoming an affiliate or partner on Twitch. And they're also adding different things like the ability to do raids on Twitch, like through the chat. I don't really understand how that works necessarily, but essentially, because we are hoping to one day be partners and affiliates with Twitch, this is supposed to make it easier for us as streamers to monetize our streams and actually like make a living, I suppose, out of doing what we do. But who knows how accurate that actually is. But yeah, they're basically like creating a system so that it's incentivizing people to like stream more and like stream correctly and do things the right way, so that you could potentially A, make them more money, and B, maybe make yourself some more money too.
Yeah.
So
everybody wins.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll have to keep an eye out for when that's up and see where we're at.
So Josh is saying here in the Twitch chat right now, a raid is just when you send your viewers to another stream. It makes it easier to do that somehow.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
like if I read the article correctly, you type in like /raid or something like that and hit go, and then it'll create a means to like raid another person's chat, I guess, or something. So it'll.
Yeah, and this article that you sent on PC Gamer,
they definitely said that we don't really know how toxic this is going to be or something to that effect, but it's with as toxic as the internet actually is.
Yeah, it said
I'm expecting a lot of toxicity.
It's all in good fun usually, but the potential for abuse is obvious, though perhaps by formalizing raids, Twitch will have an easier time detecting malicious behavior, which is cool.
Yeah, so I
maybe
think
maybe they can like turn off certain streamers' ability to start a raid.
Yeah.
And that would allow them to be like, okay, you're fucking with people with this. We're going to remove your ability to do it until you learn how to behave.
And I just want to shout out to Josh again, too, because he's the one who threw me this article on PC Gamer yesterday. And I saw something pop up about it in one of my news feeds, but I'm glad he sent me the link to check it out, because he and I were jamming yesterday, and he sent me, we were talking about streaming and stuff, and because he's an avid streamer as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's hosted us on his channel,
and
too.
we host his channel as well. So definitely check his stuff out. Sweet. Next. This is my second one. Nyko finally put out a portable Switch dock, and it's great, apparently, but it might kill your console.
Not so great.
Now, it's $50, I think. It's $50 docking kit. Docking. For the Nintendo Switch. It's
as opposed to the $90
the $90 one that's official. Basically, what I'm understanding from reading this, as well as some of the other people on Reddit that are salty about this device, they're not snapping it in properly. Like, they're not snapping their Switch into the device properly, and it's like breaking the connection on the USB Type-C port in the console to some effect. That's at least what I gathered from it. Other than that, like, everybody else seems to think it's the greatest thing ever made, and I'm probably going to pick one up so that I can have a second dock in my living room as well as in my game room and be able to switch back and forth between the two portions of my house to play, because Megan doesn't like coming upstairs in the winter because it's too cold.
Yeah, I spent the $90 on a second dock because I was going to Japan for 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm going to play a bunch of Switch, and then I ended up like playing a shitload of Metroid instead, so I didn't even really use it. But
are you going to use it, or are you just going to?
Well, and I bought it because I was like, I can set this up in front of the exercise bike downstairs, which I'm clearly not using very much. But then also I can also bring it in here and leave the one in the living room. Like, it can be my travel dock, essentially. Yeah. So having this instead, I think would have been great. And if people are just destroying their machines because they're not putting it in right, then that's their bad.
Yeah, user error. That's just dumb people.
I mean,
I could have a whole conversation about stupid people.
So you can see here on the stream, at least, but the Nyko dock is it's very short, and it doesn't like the Nintendo one. For those who have seen it, it's kind of like a taco, and you put the Switch inside the taco.
Right.
But
oh man, I hope they come out with a taco version of the dock.
Oh, we should just make taco graphics that you can put on the dock.
Yes. Shh, don't give our ideas away.
Oh man, I'm gonna do it. We'll make official ones and sell them on the Game Nerds website.
This Nyko one has just like a very thin piece of plastic that props up the Switch, but it doesn't have anything in front of it.
The Nintendo Switch Daco. Think about it.
Here, get out of here.
But so anyway, the idea, obviously, you have the ability to jerk the Switch forward in this dock
That
more
would
so than
probably
you would
ruin-
in the Nintendo
Well,
one.
no, this is on a
Switch.
swivel too. It will hold the console upright if you want, but it will also angle it too. So it's up to you as to how you want to set it up. That little stand that sticks out there is actually removable, and it clips into the bottom of the device.
Okay.
So you don't have to use that, but I mean, obviously, I would probably use that all the time just to have the extra rigidity, so I'm not fucking up the USB Type-C port on the console. So yeah,
this guy even on Switch on the Switch subreddit is saying that he just placed it in the dock and that it doesn't work anymore. So I don't know. Maybe there's more to it. But
the article says it takes a little more force to clip it into place too. So
yeah,
that might be an issue.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully people don't destroy their Switches with it. But hopefully it's.
I'm just gonna stick with my one official dock for now.
Yeah, and looking at the bottom of it, it does have two little plastic pegs. Or holes for pegs that are on that. So maybe
that's for clipping on the camera device that they're going to make with the little printer that you can use later on down the line.
Oh, sweet. They're going to make a Switch printer? A Switch camera?
Ruru2M here in the chat said, don't drink and dock.
That
Definitely
seems like
don't.
A bad idea.
You don't want to drink
around.
and dock. You could have a lot of trouble getting your pins to line up correctly.
For sure.
No, it looks like a nice product. It's cool. I didn't realize that it had the three USB ports.
So you can hook up multiple wired controllers to it as well if you want to, or charge other devices or whatever. I mean, it looks like a pretty for $50 or whatever, like a nice solution as to and it's a lot smaller. You're not. It's not the giant dock that Nintendo made. I'm surprised Nintendo didn't make a smaller portable one, or at least some kind of portable hookup so people can take these things on the go with them. But
they probably they still could.
Yeah.
There's still time. But no, that's cool.
Switch.
Sweet.
Snap.
Brian.
Oh boy.
Your story.
Do I have to?
You didn't even read the article again.
Yeah, I know. I read it. It's just long.
Well, we can kind of discuss the points, but
well, anyways, Bungie finally explained the season mechanic in Destiny 2
at
and,
TwitchCon this past
at
Friday.
TwitchCon. And it's basically when they're going to do a refresh of the weapons, and they will reset clan levels to 0 again. And you can get a different clan banner. I think there will be. I guess in
you
season,
get new posts for the.
Yeah,
the
that's
banner.
what I meant. The stave or whatever. There is also going to be major sandbox changes. That's when they'll maybe finally fix fucking Crucible and some of the other stuff in the game.
Yeah, they said that they've been making little balance changes here and there when needed.
Yeah.
But they are planning to use the seasons to actually manipulate the meta of the Crucible.
The biggest thing to mention here is that they have officially passed the torch from the main dev team to the live team. What is the live team now? So all of those little quality of life improvements that we saw happen in D1 are probably going to start being implemented in D2 to fix things. All the little things that they did over time to make D1 actually a usable, playable, awesome game over time. This team now, what is now the live team, quote unquote, is going to be implementing a lot of those changes in the updates, as well as the bigger ones that they've announced as part of this.
Yeah. I
spiel.
guess there's going to be one big major event of some sort per season, and they're also adding ornaments coming in season 2 for the faction gear and Iron Banner and all that.
And faction rallies are once per season, right?
No, more than once.
Yeah,
because they said
Okay.
there's going to be one more. at least one more
For
Faction
season
Rally and Iron Banner
this season.
after the PC release, and
Okay.
it'll happen at the same time on the PC release, and then the PC will be on the same schedule as the consoles.
I don't know if I want to get it on PC or not. I want to just because it's so pretty.
Yeah, another element of news that is I want to mention it because it's Destiny 2 related, since we're on the subject, is they canceled Trials for 2 weeks, which
Yeah.
I think is ridiculous, just because an emote was breaking
Yeah.
the game somehow.
So the bureaucratic walk emote, which is this like big high step thing, it's from Monty Python.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can use it to get out of bounds
Mhm.
in one of the Trials maps, or maybe multiple of them. And so it was allowing people to get out of bounds but still kill the other players, and therefore, it would be
I
a
just-
cheap way to beat Trials, essentially.
I understand that that's unfair, but I can't believe that it takes them that long to fix something that seems so simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just feel
Did
like they
they,
could have just removed it from the game entirely somehow, like
Yeah,
locked people out of using it.
The problem is some people may have actually paid real money for it, and
Yeah.
they don't want to make those people angry by like screwing them over completely.
so
So they're
instead,
actually
all the millions of people that bought the game
Yeah.
don't get
Can't
a
play
significant portion
Yes,
of endgame
correct.
content for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That seems totally
guess,
fair.
No, it-
my guess is they're seeing the giant player base drop in general because nobody's interested in playing Trials, and figured it wouldn't be a big deal if they just shut it down for 2 weeks to fix this shit.
See, it is fair, Brian, because you know what? Those people who spent money to get that emote are spending more money on the game than we are. Those are their whales. You don't want to piss the
It's
whales
true.
off.
Yeah.
If the whales swim away.
The guy who spent $50 on bright engrams
Yeah.
is now
Exactly.
controlling the game.
Yes.
Yep.
Loot boxes.
Yeah. Speaking, no. Yeah. So there were a few other things in like the season
Yeah, let's go
announcement
back
that they
to
said.
that real quick.
You said they were going to bring ornaments for the
Yeah,
different
there's going to
faction
be
weapons
bright
and-
engrams. They're going to switch the content in them.
Yeah.
And I guess whatever is in the bright engram for that season will only be for that season and never again, apparently.
Yeah.
That'll include ships, and there's some super cool, like, rounded out ghost shells that, like, there's never been ghosts that looked like that.
Dude, that Sparrow is dope.
Yeah. Different sparrows.
I like the mic drop emote too, but I'm not buying. I will not pay for any emotes at all, real money, until I get my fucking Michael Jackson ones back. You hear that, Bungie?
Maybe they heard you, and you're just
You
going to
hear
get
that
it in
shit?
your mailbox on Halloween.
Are they not? Are they? They're not doing a Halloween thing, are
I
they?
don't really know.
We don't know.
I don't think they are.
They might, but that's the thing. Halloween
They're
is,
definitely doing a
Halloween's in like 2 weeks, bro.
is
so
Halloween a Tuesday though?
It's a Tuesday.
They're
So
doing
then it might
the, like,
happen on
Christmas
Tuesday.
kind of event again for sure.
yeah, they're doing the
That's
dawning or whatever, which
Yeah.
is cool. I wonder if they'll bring Sparrow Racing back.
eventually.
That would be cool because I
probably.
liked Sparrow Racing. That was fun.
Yeah, I guess they're going to, when they implement different weapons and whatnot, they will also shuffle some of them around, I guess.
Right.
Like some weapons will become kinetic weapons in season 2, and some will switch from kinetic to energy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy in here.
Kinetic energy.
But yeah, and the one-off
Trying to
event
make a
thing,
joke about John being a void walker with farts. It's not coming together.
Yeah,
but
no,
anyway.
it's fine. The darkness.
Sorry.
sun stinker.
This thing about Clarion calls,
Yeah.
limited time global events that give XP bonuses if you meet certain criteria. The example they gave offered a 2x XP buff to anyone doing an event in a fire team with a clan member. They said Clarion calls won't necessarily require a clan. This is kind of cool because, I mean, all right, that whole idea where, was it Luke Smith or Deej that came out and was like, the real true end game is your friendships.
Probably.
I like the
Luke
fact that
Smith.
this game is social and wants you to play with other people, but they need to fix the it needs make everything we do 4v4 for fuck's sake. Like just do it.
Or just put 6v6 back.
Yeah,
in
or just
for
put
quick
6v6
play.
back. Like just it's really frustrating.
I don't know.
Cuz I thought what was it? You guys were playing Iron Banner. Everybody's playing Iron Banner, and the reason I didn't play Iron Banner is because when I hopped on, there was already 2 teams of 4 playing Iron Banner, and I couldn't fit into any of the teams, and I was like, this is stupid.
You know, back in D1, you could roll by yourself and still have fun,
right? But you
just can't.
You
now,
can't do it now,
for the most part.
So.
It's really frustrating.
Anyways, moving along.
But,
Yeah,
there's more stuff, but that's the major gist of it.
they
overall, it seems like people are kind of underwhelmed by it, but I mean, it's kind of what I expected, I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna I think they made a much bigger deal out of it than they needed to, because in the weekly update they've been like, and we're gonna talk about seasons at TwitchCon. Come back on October 20th.
I'm more
this
curious,
is my
like,
Deej
how
voice.
often this is going to happen. Like, if it's going to be every few months.
It sounds like it's
probably every quarter. I would assume.
Yeah, my guess is it's gonna be every 3 months, because if they're so. Destiny PC comes out this next Tuesday. They're probably gonna, and they have a roadmap out for that, which doesn't include trials. It certainly doesn't include an Iron Banner or a faction rally. So my guess is that they have all of November and December to do. They'll probably do a faction rally in November and an Iron Banner in December, and then January season 2 is my guess.
Well,
but
I'm wondering how the first DLC is going to factor into all this too, because speculation was that it was
going to be December.
December.
Right?
That would make me think they would drop that and season 2 at the same time.
I don't feel like that's happening, but I could be wrong. But 3 months, so September, October, November. At the end of November, season 1 is done. I guess
feel like
that
waiting
could
more
happen.
than 3 months for DLC they sell you before the game comes out is kind of absurd.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it's there for me. I don't feel like it's coming. It doesn't feel like it's on, but I guess we don't know.
The Osiris DLC's December, right? That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's what the leaked rumored roadmap or whatever was.
I think they're just trying to be a little quieter about this shit than before, so they don't stir up as much
because
controversy about it.
With a game that has as big of a following as Destiny does, I mean, if anything slips out, the shit pot just starts stirring hardcore.
It's stirring.
And
it's like a
everyone's
whirlwind of shit.
Everyone's
right now
over
already.
seasoning it with all their salt, and then we all get a big pot of really shitty chili that nobody wants to eat. Anyways,
okay.
Yeah, and
hey, listen, everyone loves my metaphors.
there was another thing.
Sure.
So they came out with the Prestige raid after delaying it. They couldn't fix it either after that, which.
Yeah, we
They
talked about
They
this.
delayed the Prestige raid to try and fix a glitch, which they found out that they couldn't actually fix properly. So they just ended up putting it out anyway. And then they're like, if anybody who's trying to get the world first uses the glitch, you get disqualified. So it turns out that the team that actually did it first did not use that glitch, but instead they used a different one that allowed you to use the there's a rocket launcher called the Wardcliffe coil that you can use to get all of your power ammo back off of a small amount of power ammo. And so there's a bunch of people in the community that are like, they used a glitch. Any glitch should be considered cheating. They shouldn't get it. Blah, blah, blah. When it's really just switching your weapons.
Reset their clan to level 0.
Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
People get so angry about the dumbest shit. Just play the fucking game and shut up.
It's not so the people who get the world first, do they get anything other than just oh my God, you did it. Bungie made a congratulation video. Who cares? I don't know. Anyway.
Give me an
there's
item.
a congratulation video. You get a special in-game emblem or something for being world first and stuff like that, so people know.
Whatever.
I want
again,
Am I gonna run into those
I
6
want
people?
an in-game foam
Who gives a
finger,
shit?
I'm number 1.
Actually, that'd be funny. A foam finger emote. It does the little neon sign thing
Yeah.
over your hand, and you're or you can do the wave.
This
Actually-
just makes me really want a Pitbull GIF emote with the Bud Light commercial, where he's where he does that. I need that.
He's 305 Miami.
It should. I mean, Destiny and Red Bull have a really great.
Mr.
Oh, it's
Worldwide.
Red Bull. It's not Bud
It's
Light.
not,
Maybe it should just be a Red Bull.
It's not
instead.
Red Bull this time around. They paired up with Rockstar, didn't they?
I don't know.
Who cares?
Pop Tarts.
Mr. Worldwide,
Yeah,
305.
Pop-Tarts.
I want a Pitbull eating Pop Tarts.
I'm pretty sure
emote.
Kellogg's owns Rockstar Energy
Yeah,
Drink. but-
whatever. Anyway, that's dumb. Everybody's dumb. Video games are stupid.
Hotel Mo.
Tune in next week for more video game talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks from now.
More stupid stuff from video games. Everybody's up in arms about loot boxes. I just wanted to kind of hold a general discussion. This is a great microcosm of top stories. People saying that loot boxes are under consideration as gambling. Then somebody says, hey, Shadow of War shows that loot boxes aren't ruining games. And then EA also responding to Star Wars Battlefront 2's loot box controversy. There's all kinds of stuff.
Let's start on the first one. Do you consider loot boxes gambling?
Do I consider it gambling?
Yes.
Insofar as I consider buying trading cards gambling. I don't think it's gambling, but I think it should be regulated.
Well, so okay, I think it was in China that Blizzard had
people are forced to add like the rates.
You have to give
dropping.
you have to give the percentages of drop rates.
Yes,
that's a good idea.
I think that's a great idea. I also think that loot boxes should not be purchasable with an obscuring currency. Like I shouldn't have to buy 800 silver for $10, which then I can spend 200 of to get a loot box.
Yeah, they should have to just tell you.
It should say this is
$10 for this many bright items.
Yes. And if that was all there, I would feel less bad about the people or children or whoever it is that ends up being a whale for these games and spends too much money on it. Like, if you maybe I'm just not the person who's going to be addicted to gambling, but if you sit there and are like, I'm going to spend, $100 on bright engrams this week so I can get that ramen emote, like, okay,
right,
you're kind of an idiot. So please give somebody else your money so they can do something worthwhile with it. But I think it's important that people need to.
Rurutu said, "Save the whales."
Beautiful. So the other part, my more, the more egregious offense with loot boxes to me is whether or not they have impact on gameplay. And we discussed the bright engrams before Destiny came out a little bit.
That ended up being totally blown out of proportion.
Not really mattering that much.
Doesn't affect the game really whatsoever.
Although you can spend a lot of money to get
Don't need
mods.
to because there's not much in the game.
Yeah. You can spend a lot of money to get mods, which then you can use to get the mods that are actually useful if you get enough of them. But I don't think that, like, it doesn't...
The mods don't make much of a difference.
5 power level doesn't give you much of a difference anyway. But...
Yeah.
The idea that, and I need to double check my facts here, but I'm fairly certain in Battlefront 2, so in the first Battlefront, you were getting cards that you would equip on your character that would give you access to different types of grenades, like a thermal detonator or stuff like that, or it could give you a more powerful rifle, that kind of stuff.
But you get to choose which ones they were.
You got to choose which ones they were, but you wouldn't... It was consumable. It was consumable in the first game. You would pay to get the card, and then you would use the card, and that card is gone. You would have to buy another one with your points in order to use that rifle again. I'm pretty certain that's how it went.
I think so.
I thought that was how...
I thought that's how it is now.
I think that's how it is now.
Okay, well, at least if that's how it is now, that means you can buy loot boxes so that you have, the more powerful weapons, the weapons that have higher rates of fire.
There's no guarantee of what you get. It could
no
be
guarantee
anything.
of what you get. It could be whatever you want.
Right.
I don't think there were microtransactions in the first one, and it wasn't really you could get like a loot box to give you random stuff, I think, but you couldn't pay for it, and you could also take that currency and instead go and spend it on specific unlocks.
I don't remember loot boxes in the first one at all.
Okay, maybe there weren't. But anyway,
I don't really,
the second one now has loot boxes.
Since I played it.
It does affect gameplay because it basically means that you need to
pay money to get better shit.
You can pay money to get better shit. Obviously, you'll get some of these loot boxes just by playing the game anyway, because that's how all these things work. But that's just stupid to me. Number one, the consumable card thing, there's no need for me to buy this game for that. That alone, without the loot boxes, is enough for me to be like, I don't give a shit
I wasn't
anymore.
planning on buying it anyways because I didn't like the first one. So that's just
And
me.
that's fair. Like, the first one was better after all the DLC was out, and it sounds like they've put a lot more into this game.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually mostly curious about the single player campaign.
Which
But
is apparently like
am-
5 to 7 hours, and I would totally rent it. I might rent it just to beat it. Is probably how I'm gonna go about
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah. I'm tempted to just not buy shit from EA and Activision anymore because of their shady business practices.
this is their, buying other studios and basically killing them. But
yeah.
so I mean, what
Why
do you?
didn't we talk about? Nobody picked that as a news.
Yeah, we can talk
We
about
really
that
dropped the
real
ball.
quick.
We have
I
to
can
talk about that.
I can find that. But so what do you, I mean? Do you guys agree with me? Is that essentially
If
where
it's
it's
a
at?
pay to win sort of scenario, I think it's terrible. I just
Like-
think it's anti fun to have weapons and shit you can only use once.
Yeah, that's really stupid. Like, how do you find a loadout that you like if you have to like randomly acquire
That's-
your loadout?
That's the thing is they're expecting you to keep playing to get that loadout again to like you can keep playing
I also
over
don't
and
know
over.
if we're
It's-
even right about any of this shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not.
Maybe we're just spreading more.
Disinformation.
Yeah.
We're part of the Russian
Yes.
Russian
I don't.
meddling.
more
I
fake
don't play.
news.
I don't play a lot of multiplayer games. The only one that I play currently is Destiny, and again, the bright engram loot boxes in Destiny aren't as big of a deal as everybody made them out to be to begin with. But again, there's not that much content in the game for it to matter, anyways. That being said, like this doesn't necessarily affect me. I don't play Overwatch. I'm not playing like Dota or any of those games that have any kind of like, like I don't.
See, but that's the thing. Overwatch, Dota, like those games, it's all cosmetic stuff. It's
Yeah.
like you get costumes, you get emotes, you get like
Right, it's
like,
not.
it-
But that's the thing is like those. You're not seeing Battlefront becoming like a major league of gaming game. It's
Yeah.
not, and you're not seeing Destiny do that either. So who cares?
well, but and so that's kind of that was
It'd
my
be different if like you were playing a major league of gaming game like Overwatch and you could actually pay money to get better shit and to be like to win the game like that.
Well, very true, but like when you can walk into a game like Battlefront and just get obliterated because you don't have those, like
Right.
that always happens to me with those types of games. Like there's going to be a point where I walk into the Crucible and just get totally screwed because everybody has gotten better crap than me. And if it's in a game like Battlefront where you can literally pay to get better stuff,
Yeah.
that's not fun anymore.
It makes you feel cheated out of your $60 you already spent
Yeah.
on the game.
Yeah, and then there's the whole argument that like this is the only reason that video games are still $59.99. It's like
Make them
Okay.
$70 then.
Yeah.
Just stop doing this loot box.
also
crap.
fucking you can buy Forza 7 for like $150 fucking dollars for some reason, and you still need to do microtransactions to
the
get
ultimate
stuff. Yeah.
edition, whatever.
So it's like I have a hard time believing that that's like the only thing. So this is where I come down on it. Number one, loot boxes should only have cosmetic shit in them. Number two, you should be able to purchase them with real money value associated with them only. Number three, they should have the drop rates associated with them. And that's basically, that would cover all of my
Right,
problems
but
with
who
loot
who
boxes.
regulates that shit?
It should.
I thought I saw that there is a petition for the ESRB to actually start regulating that, but
Yeah.
I don't like
Because
Sure,
well,
whatever.
and I think the ESRB came out and were basically just like they said we're considering this, and then they were like, actually, this isn't. So it was probably
that should
like
be on the labels now. Absolutely. Like can only get certain content in the game through basically gambling.
I mean, yeah, I think it would be helpful for people to be able to identify that kind of thing, especially like if you're gonna let your kids have this,
Yeah.
and everybody stores their credit cards on everything anyway. You should be paying better attention to your credit card statements and your children, but you should also be able to glance at a game and be like, is there capacity for my child
Yes.
to spend $1,000 on this game
There
this
should
week?
just be a loot box icon that's just part of like the rating thing.
Yeah, and like
So I don't mean to jump in, but Rurutu says, what about free-to-play games like Hearthstone? You need to buy card packs to keep up. I just wanted to mention, we did talk about this on a previous episode, that there was a guy who started from scratch with literally nothing and actually beat one of the biggest Hearthstone tournaments in the world, not having paid a single dime to the game. So it is possible that you don't have to pay to win.
It wasn't a tournament, but he got to like rank 1.
He was ranked first in the world or whatever.
And with Hearthstone, for me, that's a different
it's
story.
It's a serious grind, and you really need to know what you're doing, though.
Yeah.
It's a different story because like it's better to me than even playing Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic like I used to, because you can grind your way up. Like you can start with just the base pack, which you don't have to pay for like you do for all of these real trading card games, and then eventually amass enough stuff to craft the cards you want and like do all of that. Like that is possible in that game. And therefore, because I also have the extraction of like the extrapolation of like this is like Magic the Gathering in digital form, I'm more okay with people spending money that way. Not to mention it is basically just like you are spending $9.99 on this. Do you want to buy more packs? Do you want to buy this expansion which comes with more packs? Like that.
Yeah. It's very clear what you're getting for your money in that game.
Yes.
And it makes sense. Blizzard's just better at business models than these other companies.
They have more of a moral center than somebody like EA does at the moment, at least.
Unfortunately, they fall under the Activision umbrella.
Yeah, which also, maybe that's the two sides of the coin. They balance out the.
Yeah, but they seem a little more
Awards.
independent from Activision. They're not as under much of the umbrella as like Bungie is necessarily.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see some. Maybe like they'll change things.
I don't
mean,
know.
Blizzard, like they have their own arena for playing Overwatch now. Like they're like starting to run the business of like the league games. So
yeah, but anyway,
we're running kind of long.
Let us know what you think about loot boxes.
Yeah, send us feedback on loot boxes to MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com.
Or send us a loot box.
Send us a loot crate. This month's loot crate is the Fallout blah 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 blah, and we're not sponsored by Loot Crate.
While we were kind of on the subject of EA, the story that Brian brought up is that EA is essentially closing down Visceral Games, which was working on an Uncharted-like Star Wars game.
Yeah,
headed by one of the Amy Hennig, who was a writer on Uncharted 1, I think, and I think 2, 3,
something like that.
She was working on 4 and then left in the middle of development to go to this. So they're basically shutting that studio down, and then they are pivoting this game to be some sort of non-single player game.
That'll probably involve loot boxes.
Yes. This is just sad news, and I think it's a good thing to bring up. Like I was really excited when I heard this was happening because like they canceled 1313.
This is I would consider this one of their EA's better studios too. Like they made all the Dead Space games, which were pretty big hits, except for the third one.
Their cult followings. I don't remember them ever really being like, oh my god, but like a lot. The people who did play those games fucking love those. They games.
I mean, I played the first one. I didn't finish it. It was scary as shit.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know why I
ran out of adult
it.
Diapers.
I think I decided I wanted to play the PC version, so I sold my Xbox copy, and then I never bought it again. But
but here's the thing.
They're good games.
I think I have Dead Space 1 and 2 as part of
honestly,
the Humble Bundle.
what killed the Dead Space series was EA getting money hungry and being like, you need to have multiplayer in your game, and it didn't fit in the third game.
Well, not only that, but they also put microtransactions in the third game. Like you could buy like weapon parts or something, like you could spend money on Dead Space 3. So like that's the thing, is that it's like these big studios who get that taste of like, hey, these guys over here in this division are making a shitload of money because they got FIFA cards that everybody's buying for some dumb reason. Put those in your Star Wars game.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, we can try that. And then they do. And then everybody hates it. And then they're like, well, you guys are a failure. Goodbye. And they shut them down. So it's like, I don't know. Like EA is notorious for doing that.
I just anytime you go into like a sidebar, like act like you're like acting out something like that. I wish we could hire an animator to like animate those things with like stick figures.
Yeah, if we were big enough, we would have somebody in our audience
Exactly.
that would do that. But
And it's just they look like the Canadians from South Park.
Well, not exactly. I mean, come on. They flap a different direction or something.
But EA's notorious for this. We've got they killed Visceral's dead now. Who else has died? Essentially, BioWare's basically dead.
Yeah.
No, they're working on Anthem.
No, they're dead.
Well, I mean,
that's
Mass
just-
Effect's basically dead.
Mass Effect is gone, so BioWare is dead. It is now just
BioWare,
EA.
They're working on Anthem.
But they're not.
They're
It's
working
not.
on
The
Anthem.
doctors are gone. Those people, yeah, they're gone.
It's not the
Um,
same company as it used to be.
Like EA's got this graveyard of fantastic
I'm
developers.
really worried
that,
that
they've acquired.
Respawn will be next.
Respawn isn't
because
actually
Titanfall 2
EA
didn't
though.
make that
I
much
don't
money.
think. I think
It
it's a
is.
partner.
Yeah.
I don't think they are owned by EA as of yet.
I don't know.
I'm not certain of that, but I think it's a partnership. I think they're technically like an independent studio, but
Okay.
so they can't necessarily be killed by EA yet. But
But they might respawn anyways. So.
yeah, there you go. Anyway, it's sad that Visceral is shutting down. It's sad that this game isn't going to be like, I remember at the turn of the generation when Star Wars 1313 was being shown off and it had the best looking graphics of any video game at the time. It was meant to be like a I think it was a young Boba Fett story was kind of the idea.
I vaguely remember that.
It got
It looked
canceled.
amazing.
It got canceled pretty much when Lucasfilm went to
Yeah,
Disney
The
essentially.
shuffling.
okay.
So
I don't feel like EA was the best company to go with when it comes to
that
having-
that
yeah,
idea,
like,
yeah,
they have full control over
that should have been
all the
hey.
Star Wars games.
Should have been, hey, Naughty Dog, would you make this game like that? Yeah, but that's the thing is that it's not Lucasfilm going to like Naughty Dog. Lucasfilm didn't go to EA and say, hey, make this game for us. That was EA being like, hey, we want to make this for you.
Yeah.
Because, and Lucasfilm isn't going to award that to like Naughty Dog because Naughty Dog's only going to put it out on PlayStation. Like it's kind of,
They might not want to make a Star Wars game either.
that's true too. But, I don't know. It's a bummer. 'cause
I'm really sad that I don't think, like myself and every fucking Star Wars fan that is also a video game fan is probably never going to see Star Wars games that they want to see because
Yeah.
they're just EA
It's-
is so obsessed with the games as a service thing and the loot box shit that
it's just
they're
going
just
to be
going to water
Battlefront.
down any decent idea that they have.
It's Battlefront and the Old Republic over and over and over again.
Unless
essentially.
nobody buys that shit.
Yeah.
And then maybe
Which is
they'll
never
have
going to
change
happen
their-
because it's Star Wars.
yeah,
So, I don't know. It sucks.
It's really sad because there are just so many really good Star Wars games back in the day that they could basically make new versions of, and people would love that shit. And
Yeah.
they're not going to do it because it somehow would make them a few cents less or whatever.
Yeah, because
They
video
can't
games
cram
are
loot boxes
video
into an
games are
X-Wing
only
game.
successes if they if they keep printing you money. Anyway, pour one out for Visceral.
Yep.
The final thing that I wanted to bring up, so NeoGAF died over this past week essentially because there were some allegations that came out about sexual harassment from the man who's been running it for the past several years. And number one, fuck that guy, period. Sexual harassment sucks. Don't do it. Don't be an asshole.
I'm just you're very like succinct and to the point.
There's no farting around it.
There's not
This
much
is what
to
it
debate
is.
here.
It's like don't be
Either
the
you're-
scum of the earth. Either you're an asshole or you're not.
Right.
And don't be an asshole.
Yes.
That's kind of
you
what
heard it here first. Well, okay, not really. But
yeah. But
don't
like,
be an asshole.
number one, fuck that guy. That's really I can't. There's no other way for me to say it. There's all this shit going on in Hollywood, in video games. There was somebody at Naughty Dog who's been accused of sexual harassment. There's people in games journalism. We had Gamergate happen, and it's all fucking neck beard, heavy breathing, basement dwelling assholes of the world
Keep it in
rising
your
up.
pants.
Yeah, just keep it in your pants and learn how to be a decent human being, and then maybe other people will want to touch you at some point in time. That's what it is. Don't suck.
But it really
Be a
sucks
good human.
for gamers that we don't have this resource now because somebody was an asshole.
Like NeoGAF was this amazing nexus of like people who grew up to then be games journalists and game developers and like publicity people for video games company. Like it was this crazy intersection of all of these facets of gaming. And say what you will about like, oh, the people on NeoGAF are going to love this shit. Like that kind of thing. Like the Destiny roll, like update comes out and then NeoGAF shits on it immediately. Like, yeah, that's what NeoGAF did most of the time. But the fact that like I went to NeoGAF every day, like, and now there's nowhere to go. It sucks. And I know something's going to rise out of the ashes and people are going to migrate. And obviously, you know, like I wouldn't want to put any money into that guy's hands if there's ads on NeoGAF anyway. Like
dirty, filthy hands.
Yeah, fuck that. So sucks that NeoGAF is mostly gone. Hopefully it comes back under new management or there's somewhere else to go. But also don't sexually harass people because that's dumb.
Agreed.
And it's terrible.
Cool.
And that's our stance. The views of Alex Morel do reflect the views
Yeah, I feel that way too.
of
For sure.
the Midwest Game Nerds podcast and the Midwest Podcast Network.
Yep.
But
I was gonna make a bad joke, but I won't.
please don't.
I won't. No, I'm just gonna let it go.
Thank you.
That being said,
Quick, just pull his lever down there so he's muted.
if you want to follow us on social media or see all the places you can listen to or watch our show, check out MidwestGameNerds.com/links. As always, we would appreciate your feedback at MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Twitch as well as rate and review us on your favorite podcatcher like iTunes, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play Podcasts. What was I going to say? There was something else I was going to mention at the end here. I don't quite know. We're wrapping things up. We're going to talk Assassin's Creed next time and Mario Odyssey and maybe some Destiny PC. I don't know what the plan is necessarily.
Don't you dare. Don't.
Again, I just
Don't do it to
I just
yourself.
want stuff to play on
It
my
is
PC.
so nice on
it
PC,
looks
though.
so
I know
good.
it is. I
looks
played the
so
beta.
nice.
so good on PC. Oh
It
my
does,
god, it looks
but
good.
You're sitting here like, I don't know what I want to do in this game anymore. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to start 3 more characters on PC.
I know. It's just
don't
just
do that.
stupid.
Well, I personally I would enjoy Crucible a lot more on PC because I love mouse and keyboard. So
That's fine. If that's your prerogative, please go ahead and do it. But my God, guys.
Yeah, but anybody listening or watching, if there's any games or anything you ever want us to talk about, do send us suggestions, MidwestGameNerds@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook, too, on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Hit us up on all those outlets. And just let us know, like, what you want to hear from us. We're always open to feedback. We want to do things. We want to talk about things that you guys want us to talk about and want to listen to and make sure we're creating content that people enjoy. So please do check in with that. Alex, what else is up with the network?
So we're still going to do that Gone to Texas Season 2 wrap-up episode. I should be through Season 2 of Preacher for the second time by the end of this week, and I think Nick and Lance are ready to talk about it too. So look for that. And also the Horror Movie Yearbook guys just put out episode 23, The Class of 2007. The movies they talk about are Hostel 2, The Mist, and Trick or Treat, all of which Trick or Treat and The Mist are really, really interesting movies. I've never seen Hostel 2. But I'm looking forward to hearing them talk about Eli Roth movies.
Cool.
Because that's a pretty big thing in horror. So please go check that out. Even if you're not a big fan of horror films, they play some fun games. They talk about interesting things and the context that the movies
they're
came
pretty
out
funny.
in. Yeah, they are very funny people. So please check out Horror Movie Yearbook at horrormovieyearbook.com or any podcatcher that you like.
Yep. So that is it. We will catch you guys next time. Thanks again for listening and watching. If you're on Twitch, we really appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Peace.